All right, hi everybody, John Meadows here. Hopefully you saw the video with Dave yesterday talking about exercises he likes to use to strengthen the deadlift. Now, what are we going to cover today?
Deadlift technique.
Technique. Okay.
Yes, so we're going to see where we go from here.
All right, technique time. Let's go.
Technique. This is so, it's a crazy one because you have people that you can just simply say, go over and pick it up. And it's perfect. There's nothing to correct. And that's where deadlift technique can become extremely overcomplicated because it is simple. You're just picking something up. Then you have other people that it's a complete train wreck. And it takes a lot of time to be able to fix that. And I think the reason for that is they probably deadlifted right at some point in time and then learned how to deadlift wrong from multiple people over a very long period of time, and now they have all these bad habits. Because the primal act of picking something up is pretty simple, and if you watch most kids do it, at very young ages, they're doing it fine. So somewhere along the line, we destroy it. So it's getting that back. So with the deadlift, for a lot of the people out there, there's nothing to change. What you're doing is fine. So the other ones, there's some things that you need to look at. So I'm going to hit some basic points with this. The first one is going to be your stance. And I understand a lot of the things that I'm saying are very simple. Your stance, your grip. All I'm going to reiterate here is I've worked with lifters from complete total beginners, Gen Pop, high school athletes, all the way to world record holder powerlifters. And the most common mistakes I see are the simplest things. The stance is not right. The grip is not right. And by not right, I mean it's not even. You know, they're not changing things around to see if it will feel better, right? So some of the most popular questions are, let's just stick with conventional to make things easier. How far apart should my feet be? I don't know. What's comfortable to you? Should my toes be in or out? I don't know. What feels better to you? So giving yourself permission to try different things, see how it feels, and then go from there. Just because somebody says your toes have to be straight ahead does not mean that's what you should do. You know, if it feels better and stronger if your toes are out, then turn them out. Some people turn them in. You know, so some people have the feet completely together. You know, play around with what feels best and what looks best. And if you're looking at it and your deadlift is cringeworthy just to look at, you probably have to change some things. But from my experience, what I'm telling you is the things people go to change first are radical, where sometimes all they have to do, open the stance up a little bit, step back a little bit, step forward a little bit, change the grip, go in, go out. Do those things first because you will see huge differences in the technique when you go to film it. So you can go from something that looks like a complete mess to moving the stance in, maybe moving the grip in, and all of a sudden it only looks like half a mess. All that low-hanging fruit, take first. So the stance and the grip are the first technical things to look at. Keep in mind, I didn't tell you what's right or what's wrong. I'm just telling you to go on how it feels and what it looks like. We're all built differently. Your shoulder, width is different than somebody else. Does that mean that the arm should always be complete straight up and down? And most of the time, yes. But I know outliers, so you got to kind of go from there. So it's probably not the answer or the tip that people want, but it's the tip that they need. The second is the hips. I talked about that a little bit with the chain deadlift that we were talking about earlier. The ability to drive the hips through, or some people will call that hip drive. Again, you can see it just if you watch your own videos. Watch your own deadlift video, watch it in slow motion. Watch as the bar goes up. At what point do you start to arch the finish of the lift? Because wherever that point is typically the point where you should be driving your hips forward. So if that's the point, start telling yourself hips or whatever cue you're going to need to be able to push those hips forward instead of arching the bar out. That, out of every deadlift that I've had to analyze videos of, and there's been a ton of those, That's 90% of the default. It's just me looking through it saying, look, you need to drive your hips through when the bar is at the top of your sock. Next person, you need to start driving your hips through when the bar is an inch over your knee. You need to drive everybody's a little bit different because the arms are different, body structure is different. You just have to look and see, and that's usually the gauge to go by from there. Number 3, tension. All right, so we're going to talk about tension again. With a deadlift, some people will get tight before they go down. Some people will go down and then get tight. Both ways are right. All right, some people are going to say both ways are wrong, but both ways are right. What I'm telling you is when that bar leaves the floor or begins to leave the floor, you have to have tension. So I like to teach people the tension by saying pull the slack out of the bar. The reason people don't understand when coaches will tell them pull the slack out of the bar is because they don't pull enough weight to pull the slack out of the bar. And that's nothing against anybody. It probably takes 5 or 6 plates per side for you to really feel that slack being pulled out of the bar. So the cube almost becomes meaningless unless you are pulling that much, because you're never going to understand what they're talking about. If you listen to a bar when you go up to it, and even if there's 20, 30, and you just slightly lift the bar, you're going to hear a click. You know, that's the bar clicking against the shaft, you know, where the sleeve is. If that's all you listen to, you go up to the bar, you grab the bar, you initiate the pull until you hear a click. Then when you hear the click, pull. So do a slight pull, and then when you hear the click, tighten everything, and then pull. You know, that's if you're going to get tight that way. You can get tight beforehand. All I'm telling you is by initiating that pull, that's going to allow the hips to get into a better position and your shoulders to get into your whole body to get into a better pulling position, to be able to be in a better advantageous position to deadlift from. Have you ever wondered why your second rep is easier than your first? It's because you're in a better position to deadlift from after you do one and you come back down, because you already have pre-built tension from the first rep when you're lowering it down. There's already tension on the bar on that second one that's been pre-built up as well. But if you look close at your videos, you're going to see your hips are in a different position, your shoulders are in a different position, your body's in a different position at the beginning of the second rep compared to the first. By pulling that click or pulling that slack out, we're trying to get your body in the same position as the second rep is on the first.
Yep.
Okay, number 4, don't stay down too long. All right, a lot of people will go down to pull the deadlift and then they stay down there for an eternity. If you're not ready to pull, don't go down. So get yourself mentally ready, get everything as ready as you possibly can. So when you go down, you know, you grab and go. You should already be, you know, committed to pulling or whatever you want to call it before you go down. If you're not ready, don't go down. So go down, get yourself in the position and pull. Don't stay down there for too long, because your body position is going to start shifting. Shoulders can start twisting this way, this way. You can see a lot of really weird things happen. And then a lot of people will recover before they pull, but all that extra energy down there is just burnt energy in a heightened state. So you don't want to burn energy in that state. So get down there, pull, and be done with it. Don't stay down there forever. And I get it. Like if you're putting straps on, then go down and then reverse lunge back. You know, one knee on the ground, one leg back, or kneel on the ground. Don't waste energy in a bent position putting your straps on. Kneel down, put the straps on, then pull the legs up and pull. So don't waste a lot of energy down there.
Hello everybody, my name is Alexander Meadows, and today I'm going to be doing 3 big Eli hops.
Number 5, head position. There's going to be a lot of different opinions on this as well, so I'm just going to give you mine. I don't like people looking up. I like them looking straight ahead. I like focal points to be actually slightly down. So if it's a powerlifting competition, I want the focal point to be actually the judge's head from that standpoint. But I want the neck packed. You know, so I actually have, they're little angry birds about this big. They're about the size of a little Nerf ball. I'll shove it into somebody's neck to teach them, and then have them pull their neck back to hold it. So that teaches that packed neck position from the initiation of the pull all the way through, because that allows for the better body position, but it allows for a more fluid lockout as well. So the head starts doing all these crazy things, it's going to not be advantageous to the lockout at all. And it's an easy fix, because once they learn how to pack the neck or just chin back. So when I say chin back, I'm not saying head up, right? And I'm not saying head down, I'm just saying chin back. So you got to keep in mind with a lot of these cues, people are built different. People who have big traps, you're going to try to tell them to pack their neck. They can't, because the freaking traps are in the way. So you have to keep all those things in mind when you're trying to teach somebody or cue them, because you may have to use a cue that's just completely off the wall to be able to get them to do what they want. But what if you're that person? Okay, so if you're that person and you're at home and you're watching a video, me, on how to deadlift, you're like, I can't figure this out. Well, you can't, because you're a freaking troll and your traps are up to your ears. You know, it's going to be packed, but it's not going to look the same as what other people are. So if there's any takeaway, especially from the deadlift, it's that body structure makes everybody look a little bit different. So an experienced eye can help a lot on the deadlift, or just watch it from the side. If it looks bad, it's probably bad. If it looks like it's not going to be healthy, it's probably not healthy. But from the overwhelming standpoint, it is, because you're just picking it up.